Morning student, in this video lesson I will explain you the sentence, parts of sentence, kinds of sentence, phrase and clause. First, what is sentence? A group of words which makes a complete sense is called a sentence. Example, we have two groups of words. First, Rohan went to market to buy books. Second, books went to market to buy Rohan. In the first group of the word, there is a complete sense. That's why it is a sentence. But in the second group of word, there is no sense. It means it is not a sentence. Important thing about a sentence is a sentence always starts with a capital letter and it ends with a full stop, question mark or an exclamatory mark. Parts of sentence. There are two parts of sentence, subject and predicate. Subject, in a sentence, the person or thing we talking about is called the subject. Predicate, what we talk about the person or thing is called the predicate. Example, the little girl is playing in the garden. In this sentence, the little girl is the subject, is playing in the garden is predicate. The first color in a rainbow is violet. The first color in a rainbow is the subject, is violet is predicate. We use what and who to find out the subject in a sentence. For example, in the first sentence, if we say who is playing in the garden, the answer the little girl. It means the little girl is the subject. In the second sentence, what is violet? The first color in a rainbow. So, we can use who and what to find out the subject in a sentence. Most important thing, verb is always the part of predicate. Next is kinds of sentences. There are 4 kinds of sentences. First, assertive or declarative sentence. Second, interrogative sentence. Third, imperative sentence. And fourth is exclamatory sentence. First are assertive or declarative sentences. Sentences which declare something are called assertive sentences. We further divide assertive sentences into 2 parts, affirmative assertive sentence and negative assertive sentence. There are examples. A pilot flies aeroplanes. Ram does not go to school. First sentence is the example of affirmative and second sentence is the example of negative. But both affirmative and negative sentence are called assertive or declarative sentences. Next are interrogative sentences. We use interrogative sentences to ask questions. We have 2 kinds of interrogative sentences. First, yes-no type questions. Second, WS type question. Yes-no type questions answers in yes and no. So they are called yes-no type questions. WS type questions are always start with the WH word like what, who, when, where. That's why they are called WS type questions. Look at some examples. Are you going to market? In this question, if you are going to the market, you will say yes, and if you are not going to the market, you will say no. It means it is yes-no type question. Yes-no type question always start with the helping verb like are, is, am, was, were, has, have, had. Second sentence, what is your name? In the answer of this question, you can't say yes or no. You will tell your name and it is starting from the question word what. This is WS type question. Who is your class teacher? This is also WS type question. Are you busy today? This is yes no type question because we can give the answer of this question in yes or no. Next are imperative sentences. We use imperative sentences to express a command or order, an instruction or request, or an advice. For example, put this notice on the notice board. In this sentence, we are giving instruction. Pass me the sugar, please. In this sentence, we are requesting. Do your homework regularly. In this sentence, we are giving advice. So, we can simply identify imperative sentence by the verb. These sentences always start with the first form of verb. Exclamatory sentence. Sentences which express the sudden or strong feeling of heart are called exclamatory sentences. For example, if we enter a room and the room is untidy, we will say how untidy the room is. It is the sudden feeling of our heart. And this is exclamatory sentence because it expresses the sudden and strong feeling of our heart. Some example of exclamatory sentences are how lovely the rose is, how beautiful the butterfly is, what a beautiful building the Taj Mahal is. Alas, she died so young. We can simply identify these sentences with exclamatory mark. These sentences end with the exclamatory mark, or we use exclamatory mark after the word like alas, hooray, etc. The phrase, a group of words that make sense but not complete sense, is called a phrase. Example, a funny story last evening at the bus stop in the sky. They are group of words and makes sense, but they are not giving complete sense. We cannot use them alone. They are used as a part of the sentence. Next is clause, a group of words that forms part of a sentence and has a subject and a finite verb of its own is called a clause. A clause has only one finite verb in it. A clause may or may not be able to stand on its own. It means that it is also a sentence. If it does not, it must be part of a longer sentence made up of two or more clauses. Examples, he is playing in the garden. This is a sentence and we can say that it is a clause. My neighbor is a man who owns great wealth. In this sentence, who owns great wealth, it is a clause. The boy who is wearing a blue shirt is my brother. In this sentence, who is wearing a blue shirt is the clause. We will study the clause in detail in our next video.